Have you ever stopped to think about what really happens when nature decides to continue life at any cost? It is not romantic. It is not beautiful, and it is definitely not gentle. It is intense, brutal, and sometimes completely unbelievable. In the wild world, mating is not just reproduction. It is a silent battle, a test of endurance, and above all, a proof of adaptation. Each species has developed unique strategies, some surprising, others uncomfortable, but all with a single objective: to guarantee survival. But if you think you have already seen everything, this is where things get really intense, because the last behavior on this list is not just strange, it completely challenges any idea of limits. Let's go.
Number 14. The extreme endurance of leopards. Leopards turn the reproductive act into a true physical test. During the female's fertile period, the pair can mate every 15 minutes for up to an entire week, totaling hundreds of times. This intense behavior is not random. Constant repetition drastically increases the chances of fertilization. However, the process is aggressive and painful, especially for the female, who often reacts with attacks after the act. It is a strange cycle of pain and necessity, where instinct speaks louder than any discomfort, as if nature itself were constantly pushing, without giving space for pause. They turn persistence into strategy, even when the physical cost is high.
Number 13. The rigorous selection of giraffes. Among giraffes, nothing happens by chance. Males need to travel large territories, compete with rivals, and still gain the acceptance of the female. The process involves careful approach, behavioral tests, and subtle signals. But in the end, it is the female who decides. After mating, a long gestation of up to 15 months begins, and when the calf is born, it already faces the world abruptly, literally falling to the ground, but getting up a few hours later. In nature, quick adaptation is a matter of life or death, and this simple gesture can make all the male's effort completely useless. Every second standing still increases the risk, and life demands immediate movement. Number 12. The brutal competition of kangaroos. Kangaroos reveal a completely different side when it comes to reproduction. Males enter intense physical confrontations, using strength, balance, and strategy to secure an opportunity. The disputes are direct and demanding. Only the strongest or most persistent gain access to the females. The mating itself is brief, but the path to it can be extremely exhausting. Each blow is calculated. Each movement can decide the winner. It was surviving the competition and still having energy to continue. Number 11. The delicate challenge of porcupines. Mating with an animal covered in quills seems impossible, but nature finds a way. The male begins the process with unusual signals, such as the use of urine to test receptivity. If the female accepts, she relaxes the quills and allows contact. The biggest challenge is timing. The female has a reproductive window of only a few hours per year. This requires absolute precision. A mistake can result in intense pain or the loss of the only chance. Everything depends on a single moment, and losing that chance means waiting for another entire cycle. In nature, even the impossible finds a way, as long as the timing is perfect. Number 10. The confrontation of rhinoceroses. Here, the process begins with a role reversal. The female chases the male, provoking and forcing a response. When the confrontation happens, it is physical and intense. Males collide, push, and resist for long periods. Only the winner earns the right to mate. There is no room for weakness. Only strength and endurance define the result. Here, strength is not just an advantage, it is a requirement. And only those who endure until the end earn the right to continue.
Number 9. The chaos of hippopotamuses. Among hippopotamuses, everything happens in the water and in an extremely intense way. Males compete for territory and use unusual methods, such as dispersing feces, to mark presence. The mating itself is chaotic. The female is often submerged, creating a disordered but effective scenario. It is a clear demonstration that nature does not always follow predictable patterns. It is disordered, it is intense, but it is exactly how it works. Because in nature, not everything needs to be beautiful. It just needs to work.
Number 8. The exhaustive repetition of lions. Lions take repetition to the extreme. During the fertile period, they can mate up to 100 times per day. This exhausting behavior has a clear biological purpose: to stimulate ovulation and increase the chances of reproduction. Even being painful for the female, the process is essential for reproductive success. It is constant wear, physical and mental. But it is precisely this excess that ensures life moves forward.
Number 7. Bonobos and the social use of mating. Unlike many species, bonobos use sex beyond reproduction. For them, it is a social tool. It serves to resolve conflicts, strengthen bonds, and reduce tensions within the group. This behavior reveals a level of social complexity rare in the animal kingdom. Here, instinct goes beyond survival. It builds connections and shows that sometimes evolving is finding new ways to coexist.
Number 6. The silent dispute of cheetahs. In cheetahs, everything begins with chemical signals left by the female. Males follow these trails and compete among themselves. The strongest wins, and mating happens in a fast and efficient way. There are no long rituals, only objectivity. There is no room for error. Everything is too fast, and whoever hesitates simply loses the opportunity. Number 5. The persistence of wild boars. Wild boars show that persistence can be decisive. Males chase and pressure until they gain the female's attention. Persistence, in this case, is an effective strategy that can define reproductive success. Insisting is not an option. It is the strategy. Because in nature, whoever gives up too early is left behind.
Number 4. The aerial dispute of the fossa. In fosses, everything happens in the trees. Males compete for position and access to the female in elevated environments. A single female can attract several males at the same time, creating intense disputes in an unusual scenario. Height, balance, and dispute in the same setting. Here, advantage is not only strength, it is knowing how to position yourself better than the others.
Number 3. Zebras and group structure. Among zebras, mating is linked to social organization. Dominant males control groups of females and defend their position against rivals. Here, strategy and leadership are as important as strength. It is not just about winning, it is about maintaining control, because losing dominance can mean losing everything.
Number 2. The complex system of hyenas. Hyenas present one of the most unusual reproductive systems in the animal kingdom. The female's anatomy makes the process difficult and risky. This requires extreme coordination and precision, making each mating a real challenge. Every detail matters. Every movement needs to be precise, because any mistake can turn the process into a risk.
Number 1. Elephants and nature's timing. In elephants, everything happens in a slower and deeper way. Males enter an intense hormonal state that increases their competitiveness. The process involves social signals, communication, and presence. And after mating comes a gestation that can last almost 2 years. It is nature's timing, acting without hurry, but with purpose. Here, everything happens at the right pace, without hurry, because some of the greatest forces of nature do not need to rush. In the end, all these behaviors reveal a single truth. Nature does not seek comfort, it seeks continuity. Each action, no matter how strange or extreme it may seem, exists for a reason: survival, adaptation, evolution. Animal reproduction is intense, strategic, and often extreme, showing the true power of instinct. The key question is, how far is a living being capable of going to guarantee its existence? In nature, there is no comfort, only adaptation. If this content surprised you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and keep exploring the most fascinating mysteries and curiosities in the world. See you next time.